you, Dr. Bell.
Human Resources.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to present Dr. Takesha Ward-Smith.
Thank you, Dr. Johnson.
All-American power forward from the University of Virginia.
Dr. Johnson, members of the board, and Mr. Thurman, the Division of Human Resources report for the month of September 2013 is actually inclusive of all activity since May of 2013, and I'd like to explain. Be advised that when teachers or employees terminate or do not report back for the 2013-14 school year, we are required to utilize their last working date. So I do know that in past board reports you have seen terms since a particular point in time, but keep in mind that the actual report includes the last working date of all employees who are listed. For that reason, the report shows that we had a total of 793 new contracted employees, 328 new non-contracted employees, 225 resignations, and 46 terminations. That concludes the Division of Human Resources report for September 2013.
Is there any discussion? John?
Yeah, so I know this is outside the scope of the report, but I think the last time we met was prior to the first day of school. It would be great to just get a general update on the number of open positions we had on day one, the number of open positions we have now in the classroom, particularly in those sorts of things.
Yes, sir, I have that information. I'm proud to report that we started school staffed at 98.5%. On the first day of school, we had a total of 59 instructional vacancies and 21 Title I vacancies. Today, we have 41 instructional vacancies. Please note that due to enrollment bursts in several areas, we have posted some new positions in the last 2 weeks. In addition to that, we have received our Title I allocations, and we have 11 Title I vacancies for a total of 52. I've also done an analysis as I looked at the vacancies that are posted today. Please be advised that only one school has more than 2 homeroom, and that means general ed homeroom vacancies. Other than that, all schools have less than 2 instructional homeroom vacancies per site.
Mr. Campbell?
I'm sorry, Dr. Smith. Can you go back and do your numbers again? You started out with 59 and what, Title I?
21.
21. And now we're at 41 and 11.
Yes, sir, 41 and 11, and keep in mind of the 41 instructional vacancies, 20 have been posted in the last 2 weeks that we have had enrollment burst in kindergarten and other grade levels to actually match enrollment burst in different districts, or shall I say regions. Region 1, we had to add a number of kindergarten classes, and others. In other regions, we had to shift some teachers. So as of today, we have 41 instructional vacancies and 11 Title I.
And then only one school had more than?
Yes, sir. Instructional homeroom vacancies, and that is M.L. King. I did see, once again, I am not counting extracurriculars such as PE, ESOL, but I did see that M.L. King had 2 homeroom instructional vacancies. Other than that, all other schools have less than 2.
Mr. Orson?
A couple of questions for you. One, I know during the summer you had mentioned that you were doing some recruiting or trying to recruit out of the Chicago school system. Were you able to hire any teachers out of that system?
We were not successful with the Chicago initiative. However, they are going to have a huge job fair in October. What we found was prior to reporting to Chicago, we actually did a virtual fair where we ran information and had a hotline set up. There were a number of challenges that prevented us from going to the Chicago area. We did hire a few from Detroit, Michigan, but we did not have any from Chicago.
Okay. Secondly, of the 52 vacancies, or I guess the 41 in instructional vacancies, is there a certified in subject matter instructor in each of those 41 classrooms?
For the actual 41 vacancies that we have, I cannot attest to the fact if we have an actual certified, in-field certified teacher, 9 times out of 10, those vacancies will be pulled down before the 10th day, and we only require long-term subs to be certified in-field. If they are short-term, once again, the principals may have a person to fill in or supply, but once they reach a certain threshold, we require them to have a certified in-field sub
Right.
by the 10th day.
But so that's my question. So we're past 10th day. Do we know that in these 41 vacancies, and it seems that we're not clear as to whether they're all in-field certified, is that correct?
What I'm stating is for all of these vacancies, some were posted 2 days ago. For the ones, let me state, for the ones that have 10 or more days, we should have a long-term certified in-field substitute for those particular classes.
Okay,
If they're under 10 days, I cannot verify them.
So the only thing I would ask is that perhaps if we can get confirmation of that at some point,
Yes,
that would
sir.
help us. Thirdly, and this is probably more of an involved answer than you can give us right now, but I envision we're going to get, and I have seen some emails, I'm sure other board members have, about class sizes, because that's relative to the number of vacancies. You know, if schools, if they're bumping up against the maximums on a consistent basis, on one hand, it reduces the number of instructional staff we need, but it puts a lot more children in classes. And I've at least been told of instances where we are bumped up against those waiver size classes, which obviously we're allowed to, but isn't probably our preference. And I think at some point, it would help to get some analysis of what our class sizes are looking like, because that's probably a recurring theme of emails I get from parents, that they are seeing classes in which, and I get the anecdotal, for a day there were 45 and you had to get a new instructor. I don't discount their importance, but I understand. But I am getting some ongoing communications from parents who are concerned that there's sort of a sustained high number in a lot of these classes. And I think we just need, and again, I know it's a question beyond, and I'm not going to expect you to be able to answer it right this moment, we need to get some analysis of what our class sizes are looking like, not just in the average, but sort of across the board, some analytics around those classes and where that impact is taking place. Are we having very large classes in remedial classrooms, which would probably be the most devastating if we can't get class sizes down there where we have students who need additional instructional help? And I think I would like to see some analysis around that at some point.
Yes, sir.
Additional discussion?
Mr. Chairman, only one thing, Dr. Ward Smith mentioned enrollment bursts, and it's of some interest, I believe. In many ways, it's a compliment, but as of September the 4th, we had officially enrolled 99,703 students, which is a record enrollment for DeKalb County, and it controverted what had been a declining enrollment for the last several years. And on the one hand, it speaks, I think, to the confidence of parents who are enrolling their children. It's creating challenges in some regions. I know she mentioned Region 1, and Mr. Orson spoke to the impact it's having not just in the classroom, but also in terms of transportation, which I spoke to Mr. Wilkins about this morning that we're reviewing. We had this enrollment increase. It was hoped for, but somewhat unexpected. And as we approach 100,000 students for the first time in the history of the district.
No further questions. I'm sorry, Jim.
Yeah, Superintendent, if you don't mind, on the 99,703 number, is that a total K through 12 inclusive of all schools, or is that inclusive of charter schools also, who we may not be providing transportation to? Can you be a little more specific on that 99,703?
I'll let either Dr. Ward
Thank you.
Smith or either Ms. Tyson respond, who maintains the record keeping.
I know that the report that we receive every day from this person, Mr. Brantley Shop, but nonetheless, 99.7, I think it was almost 99.8, Mr. Thurman, when I looked at it on Friday, so we are still growing. But it is inclusive of the charter school students. That count is in there.
And pre-K.
And pre-K, yes. Yes,
Yes, it's
K
pre-K
through 12.
through 12.
Is there any opposition to placing this item on the consent agenda? Hearing none, it will be placed on the consent agenda.